good afternoon, happy crafters. How are you all? Thank you for joining me, Toni Darroch, live in my studio. If you're new to my studio, it's a very big welcome. We do lots of things here in the Stamps by Me studio. We do technique-based things, we promote products, we do a whole host of things over on this YouTube channel. So be sure to check in every time we are launching a new video, because it's a wealth of lovely knowledge and there's lots of people posting makes everywhere. So please do ensure that you tune in every week, every Monday and every Wednesday. So for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Toni Darroch and I'm a guest presenter over on Create and Craft, and I love anything to do with stamping, inking, die cutting. Watercolouring is obviously my favourite, but we do lots of things across the board to try and maybe get your mojo back or get you into crafting if you're absolutely brand new to it. And this honestly is a place where we create, we inspire and we completely share everything we do. So if you're sat at home now, grab yourself a cup of tea. We're going to do a couple of demos live now. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button. And if you're over on Facebook, don't forget to drop a comment. This puts you in with a chance to win one of our studio makes. Now, I'll apologise straight off. I haven't announced last week's winners because obviously, as you know, we launched our free members gift on Friday last week, and we've been working tirelessly every single day to get your gifts out to you. And I know that a lot of you have already got your gifts because you're already posting the lovely messages over on the Eureka fan page and emailing us to let us know that you've actually got your gift. Putting my business hat to one side, I do genuinely want to say thank you to each and every one of you who has either emailed in to thank me and my family for the free gift, or has posted messages over on Facebook, or has even sent me gifts, so lovely flowers and things like that. This is a genuine thank you from me. It is appreciated, and there will be many more free gifts coming to you guys at home from Stamps by Me, because genuinely it's been absolutely worth it. We've had some hiccups, but you know, we do move on and we do hope to do more for you lovely crafters at home so you can get the most out of your crafty goodies. So if you don't have the stuff that we're using live in studio, check your stash. You may have other people's brands where you can use the techniques that we're going to use live in studio. If you don't have the free members gift, don't worry about it. All you need to do is two things: subscribe to our YouTube channel and sign up for our newsletter. That way you will be sent a code and you will be eligible for the Stamps by Me free gift. And the free gift is the lovely A5 stamp set. So I know, like I've said earlier, a lot of you have already got this stamp set, and that's absolutely fabulous, and I cannot wait to see what you're all going to do with it. So in studio today we are going to be using the stamp set, which a lot of you have got. It's A5, it comes in the lovely packaging. Don't forget, on the reverse you have the lovely QR code, so this will point you in the direction of all the tutorials using this very stamp. So it's a great asset, is this, and this is a free element, should we say, which helps you get the most out of your products. So to get this scanner, all you need to do is maybe pop onto one of your free apps on your Android, on your iPhones. It's free. Download the app, and then every time you get one of Stamps by Me products, all you have to do is scan this code, and it'll take you to a whole host of videos and things where you're probably going to enter and probably not come back out of. So we're going to use the lovely stamp again today. I think there's about 6 or 7 videos using this stamp set, and I have done some Christmas ones too using this one as well. So Christmas is obviously launched on Create and Craft in June, so it's quickly approaching. So I thought I'd get a few Christmas cards in there as well, so you can still use this product. And I'm also going to use this one here as well, the Paper Piece 5. I know a lot of you have already got this one, so I'm going to show you an alternative way to use this die also. If you do like any of the products in the show, all you have to do is go to our homepage, and on there we have a search engine box. If you just pop in there FBL Facebook Live, it shows you all the products we've used over the course of however many shows, so you haven't got to go hunting and searching. What you need is right there. But please don't switch off thinking it's, you know, you have to buy things. You don't. Get your stash out and see what you've got, because it probably will work. So let's get straight into demos then. So I have done some of the work ahead of time so we can get at least 2 demos in there. So let's just set this aside. So first of all, I'm going to cut this lovely die here, this one, and I'm going to run it through the machine. Now this goes through the snap machine. So if you have a snap machine, it goes through your snap machine. It doesn't go through the baby ones though, it only goes through the larger ones. So I'm just going to get my plates. I'm using my cut and emboss, and I've had this one out because of the larger dies we've recently been using. But like I say, if you have got a snap, it will go through that also. So just got a piece of black card here. Black, it should be white, sorry. So pop it onto this white piece here. Just make sure you've got no bits in your die, because it's putting your die under pressure to try and cut through more than it actually needs to. So just pop the die face down onto my plate. I'm just going to run this one through. Now this specific die, it cuts out of the card, so you don't have to worry about having to trim it down. It's not a paper piece die, it just cuts out of the card naturally. So just set that aside. So then what happens, it sits in the die like this. What I do is I tap it on the edge of my table, and as you can see, all the bits just naturally pop out. But I'm not going to tap it on the table because it might interfere with my mic and I might blow your eardrums. So here is one that I did ahead of time before coming to air. So I know a lot of you absolutely love this die, and it's one of my favourites too. So, you know, get the most out of things when we buy these things. So just set this one aside. And then we're going to be using our lovely members gift stamp. Now, as you know, I've been using this for a long time now, so mine is well loved, as you can see. So I'm just going to grab my Eureka, and for this specific card, we're going to do a little bit of embossing, but we're going to do a white emboss, and I'm going to show you. I'm getting quite into white on white for some reason. White and white cards, I think they look fabulous. So I've just got this piece of white cardstock here and my lovely stamp. I'll just set this one aside. So before I go ahead and I ink up my stamp, I always use an anti-static bag, and this gets rid of any moisture on my card, so it keeps my artwork nice and clean. So I'm just going to brush that over. Don't worry about it if it makes a white powdery mess, it just brushes off, so it's quite easy. So I'm just going to pop this one down on here, like so. Just hold my cardstock in place, pick up the stamp, and I'm just going to use the Watermark. Now this is a fabulous sticky ink, which is great for heat embossing, and these are available on the website, but you probably already got one of these if you're already a crafter. But if you are new to crafting, it's Watermark, and it's a Watermark stamp pad. So I'm just inking up this stamp all over. And just press it down, get some coverage on there. And I can see that's stamped fine. So I'm just going to get a piece of scrap paper, and I'm using a white, so it will disappear when I come to heat it up, and that's okay because it will come to life as soon as we add some colour. So there we go, you can see how beautiful that is, and because we've used the anti-static bag, there is no powder anywhere other than where that sticky ink pad is, which is fabulous, and it just makes your artwork look a little bit neater. So I'm just going to heat set this one, and I've got my gun and it's warm because I've done some work ahead of going onto air. So get your gun always hot, and this makes the powder change quicker and stops the warp in your card. So as soon as it's to a nice temperature, just pop it onto your artwork. As soon as the powder starts to change, move your gun. You don't need to be doing this because it's just going to take a long time. Leave it in one area. As soon as the powder changes, follow it. Don't leave it in one place too long because you'll burn the powder. Like so. So let's just set this aside for now. I'll just get rid of this stamp. Right, so we're just going to bob a bit of colour in here. Now I'm not going to colour it all, I have got one coloured ahead of time. So I'm just going to get some water, and in my palette I'm using the lovely Maya watercolour tubes, and the two colours, if you have got these, that I'm using here are the Gambosia and the orange. So those are the two colours that are in my palette right now, and you can see them here. But you know, these colours, they sit in my palette for weeks and weeks. These are the ones that we've been using in studio over the last couple of weeks, and they're still there, so they'll last a lifetime. Absolutely fabulous. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of colour in here just for an example. So for those of you that have not ever seen watercolouring on white embossing, this is how it comes to life basically. So try not to shy away from heat embossing, because it's a little bit of a technique that encourages you to watercolour, because the watercolour never goes outside the lines. The embossing acts as a resist. So you know, if you're worried about watercolouring, this is a great place to start. So when you pop it on, the embossing powder will push the colour away, leaving a beautiful outline, and your colour will just drop within those lines. So I'm not bobbing any light and shade in there, I'm just literally dropping the colour within the petals, and the embossing is doing the work really. So I'll just do this one for instance, because I know a lot of you who are tuning in have seen me paint probably hundreds of times before, but I still also like to make sure that we do a little bit of it just in case we do have new viewers. So I'm just going to do the whole of this first flower. Like so, and then you could colour the centre if you wanted to. You can see how it's come to life there. Little to no effort on that one. So you could do them in variation of colours. So I'm just going to set this aside. I could spend all day colouring the whole flower. It is a huge flower, by the way. It is nearly the size of an A5 stamp. So I'm just going to dry that off, and then I'm just going to show you what the next step is to create the card that I'm going to create. So let's say, for instance, this is a full coloured image, and I've finished the complete image. So I have a pencil, and I have, let's just see what we can grab. I have my die. So this is my die. It's just got, I just need it for the straight edge, nothing fancy. And I just want a little bit of a panel that goes down here. So I'm just popping my die on, like so, and I'm just going to pencil line up to my image, just very lightly. And then I'm going to go down here, and continue the line as straight as I can, like so. So you can see half of the images at this side of the pencil line and half of the images at that side of the pencil line. So what I did was, I just got my scissors and I went up the line, and I went round this side of the image, just fussy cut round this side of the image, like so. I'm not going to do it all because I have got one ahead of time, and then I went round here. So I cut all the way around this element, and then I cut all the way around the foliage, round the flower, round this little bit of foliage, round there, round this flower here, and then when I got to the top here, I just finished it off. I cut a line, and then that left me with this sort of effect. Okay, see how we've got our panel there? So a little bit of orange and purple and green. So let's show you how we're going to get this card constructed. So this is the white part that we've just cut out earlier. So I have a white top folding note card here. I I have a strip of Gossip glitter card and I have my finished element on there. Now, I was just worried there thinking I'd lost my sentiment. So ahead of time, I've heat embossed Happy Birthday, My Lovely, and this is just in white. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how we can bring this to life and make it coordinate with the rest of our card. So I'm just going to bring in this colour again, and I think because we've got quite a lot of orange going on in our flowers, we will brush over this in a purpley pink. So there's a little bit left in my palette here. So I'm just going to take some of this colour here, give it a good old swish around. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush it over, and what will happen is our sentiment will come to life. Can we see? So it looks quite arty, quite effective really. So just try and get it a little bit even if we can. Like so. So you can see there, looks quite cool does that one. So don't shy away from white embossing powder because there's so many techniques that you can do with this. So I'm just going to heat set this one, just dry it. And then I have a piece of the gold here. I'm just going to glue it to this one so it's got a base. I'm just going to mat and layer it onto this piece of gold here. And when it's stuck on there, we've got our lovely sentiment, which has got a beautiful border around. Try and keep it still without making a mess. Like so. So you get like a lovely mat and layer sentiment on there. I'm just going to get rid of this glue on here. Otherwise it will mark my card. So there we go. So I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to put that ink pad on top so it sits flat. So let's construct our card. So again, I've got a white top folding note card and a piece of the gold. So I'm just going to put the gold down one side. Now I could have put a full sheet of gold if I wanted to, but I just wanted it to offset down this side slightly. So I'm just popping it down the side. I'm leaving a little bit of the white down here to balance the card. Just wait till it grabs. Like so. And then this piece here is going to sit over the top, but it's going to come right to the very end here. Like so. And that looks quite effective just with one panel in gold, doesn't it? So I'm just going to stick this one in place. So I'm just going to go through it random. I'm not going to be over precious about it. As long as I get glue in the fatter areas on the back side of this die, it should be okay. So if you do have precision glue tips and things like that, they really do help. So use what you've got in your stash really, just use what works for you. I'll just pop this flat on here like so. And I've taken it right to the edge of this card. Give it a second to grab. Make sure it's all straight. So our card's coming together there. So this is the panel that we've created. So you could either pop it on and hide there and have a white on white. Could pop it down this side and have a completely different look. You could do it above and trim if you wanted to, or you could pop it down the centre. There are so many ways really that you could pop it yourself, but I had in my mind this little bit of element just showing on this side, and then that bit, and then the white on white. So I'm going to go ahead and pop some pads behind this one because I want this little bit to be raised, giving some dimension. So just grab another pad. So the card blank that I'm using our white top folding note cards, and they are 5.5 by 7. These are the cards that I always use. These are available on the website. So this one specifically I'm using is 5.5 by 7. So, and I know I'm getting a lot of questions about our watercolour card. It is coming imminently. As soon as it lands, you will be sent the email. And I know a lot of you have signed up to our newsletter now, so you won't miss out. As soon as we know when it's going to be here, I will let you all know. So I'm just going to pop this across this side so I get that little bit of a pattern down the left hand side. Like so. So you get instant dimension. Can you see the dimension on there? You get the white on white, and on this side you get the gold. It looks really, really lovely. So I'm just going to pop these elements up because I want it to look a bit 3D. So this is just an alternative way of getting the most out of that large stamp. Some people, or some of you, may not want to use such a large stamp, but the cutability, or the snippability should I say, is there for you to do so. You know, swap it out if you want to. So I'm just going to stick this one on here in the centre. And I am going to offset it to the side because I don't like things centralised. So, but you could put it wherever you wanted to. And then just to finish the card, I'm just going to pop some jewels in the centre, just to give it a little bit of sparkle. So I just have these lovely jewels here. So I'm going to go with the orange because the flowers are orange. And we've got a bit of gold in keeping on there as well, haven't we? So just going to pop it into, there are spaces for you to pop little ones in if you want to, but there we go, card number 1. So a little bit different to what we normally do, but it's just an alternative way of using your lovely panel dies that you use. You can incorporate them with so many other products that we're launching, that specifically the paper piece dies and the panel dies will work with everything. I think they're some of my best creations and will be used throughout the next year, 2 year, 3 year. So let's move on to demonstration number 2. So we're going to be using the same items, but we're going to give you a different look as to what you can achieve. So I'll just set this one aside. So this time, again, we are going to cut into the stamp itself. It's not going to be a large stamp. Now, if you have missed earlier shows, I do encourage you to go back and watch them, just simply because I have used the stamp as an entity on its own. In my earlier shows, I'm trying to show you alternative ways now. So I know a lot of you will be getting your stamp out already and probably trying some of the things, maybe doing your own things. But I'm just trying to show as many ways as we can to get the most out of them. You know, you've paid for these things, let's get the most out of them. So this time I'm going to grab the stamp again, and it's going to be heat embossed again, but this time we're going to do it in a coloured embossing powder. So again, I used my anti-static bag all over the card. It looks messy, it brushes off, please don't worry about it. So this is a sticky ink pad again, same as last time. So lots of light taps all over the stamp. And that's covered just fine. So this time we're going to use gold, and this is where you'll be able to see the artwork come to life because it's obviously a colour. Just going to throw the gold on there. Can you see there how gorgeous is that? And it's just because I've used the anti-static bag, it looks clean and crisp. So just pop this back in my jar. So So I'll just quickly heat set this one. Get my gun hot. And as soon as the powder changes, which it should immediately because my gun is hot, you will see it come to life. If you've got your sparkle pens, alcohol pens, pencils, anything you like, you could spend hours just enjoying colouring this stamp. It's got lots of open spaces in there, so it allows you to be creative. One of the ladies on our design team has actually done it in Zentangle. She's stamped it out in black on white card and then filled in the lines, filled in the spaces doing Zentangle. So that's just food for thought. So what I did with this one is, can you see how we've got a focal flower here, which is the one that I started with? I always start with a focal flower and then I always draw the other ones around, in and around, and I build it. And then what happens is if it's offset slightly, that's when the foliage gets added to balance the image. So what I've done here is I've cut around here and I've used the focal part and I've just used this little element here. Nothing more. I've got rid of all of this and used this, and this is where we got this. Can we see? So I've just used a little bit of the image, not it all. And this is going to make a great focal point for a smaller card. So just set that aside. So this time we have a black top folding note card, and then we cut the die, which is this one again. We cut it out of black and I stuck it onto some Gossip Gold glitter card on there, and I just trimmed it down, so we've got a beautiful backdrop for quite an easy card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this straight onto here. The reason I did this ahead of time is because it's quite tricky to get glue on the back of card and get it onto glitter card without it all deciding it wants to lift and do its own thing. So I thought we'd skip that element of it and just do it ahead of time. So I'm just going to pop this straight onto the top folding note card. Now this pattern lends itself fabulously to portrait, but it also works as landscape. Can we see there? It gives you a completely different look if you just turn the card around. It's quite strange actually, albeit I've always used it as portrait. You can use it as landscape look, so your card opens that way if you want to. So just make sure that's stuck down. And then I have a border here, so I'm just going to put some pads behind that one. I think we'll raise this one. So if you have just tuned in, welcome. We are coming to the latter end of the show, however you can always go back and watch it anytime on YouTube. It's always available. So thank you for joining us. It's lovely to see you all. You're all watching from all over the world, which is fabulous also. So I'll just make sure that's straight. If I shut up talking, it will be straight. So I'll just set these aside. And then the element that we've gone ahead and cut ourselves, just going to use it as an embellishment here. So I'm going to glue this one flat. Pop it on there, let it grab. And then I've just gone ahead and done a Have a Great Day from the same stamp set. And I'm just going to pop this. Now I could pop it at the bottom if I want to, and I think I will. I'll just push that in a little bit and we'll go for this one at the bottom. I will pop a pad behind here. Like so. So pretty straightforward really. These are not hard cards, they are not difficult. It's the dies and the stamps that do all the work for you. So we have two absolutely lovely cards, two totally different looks. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do with your lovely products. If you're making a masculine card, it works. If you're making a fun, funky card, it works. If you're just playing with a little bit of ink, it also works. So I hope you've enjoyed the two videos today. There's lots more to come. Like I said, we have done some Christmas card ones using the same stamp, and we will be popping those on. They are the quick 1-minute 30s. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I do appreciate your time, and I love it that you all come, say hi to each other, talk live on the YouTube chat page and things like that. Don't forget, if you are making any of the lovely makes with the lovely new free gift stamp, to post your makes on our Eureka fan page. We love to see what everybody's doing. There's all sorts of encouragement on there, and there's also the design team there to help you should you be stuck or concerned about something, or something's not quite working and you want to know what you're doing wrong. So I will see you all next Monday at 4 p.m. Have a great evening, whatever you're doing. Take care, everybody. Bye.